What's going on, guys? I got a bit of a limp going on at the moment because I messed my knee up the other day, which is a bit unfortunate, but shit happens. It's a Sunday and we're heading down to the workshop, and because I am not fully capable, the old man is going to come down and give me a hand working on the car.
All good.
You've never really worked on a car before, have you?
Not really, no.
Not extensively?
Oh, just little bits and pieces over the years. Yeah, I'm certainly no expert.
Oh, so we made it down to the shed. One of the first things I want to get done today is I want to bleed up the brakes. 2 videos ago, we took this thing for boost around the block. It was awesome, but we realized that the brakes needed to be bled up a bit more because they were quite spongy. When I first pulled out of here, pressed them down a few times and they worked, just, yeah, not that well. And then when we got back, I tried to do a little skid just here, see if it would hold the car in first gear, and yeah, just pushed it. So we definitely need to bleed the brakes up again, get those working properly. Also want to give this thing a service. When we pulled the motor out of the last car, that sat around for about 6 months, and I put just some cheaper oil in it to run it up on the dyno. Now that this thing is tuned, I want to drop that oil out of it, put some good stuff in it, along with a bottle of Maury's oil stabilizer. Pretty much God's gift for RBs. Also want to chuck a new oil filter on there, and I've got to put my steering wheel onto this because previously I just had one of Matt's on there. I'm gonna waddle around the shed, basically follow my dad around with the camera while he jacks the car up.
Yeah, make me do all the work, eh?
First.
You want to push it out? You got more light if we go out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
All good.
Smart man.
Well, we could just start it up and drive it out. Hardly worth it when it's only going 10 feet though, is it?
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about the light, do we?
Nah.
Neither. It's not your arms.
Yeah, but look how much you're moving. I can see how much your knees are bending on the camera.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, this side was definitely a lot faster than the last side.
Oh, it must be getting better, eh?
Yeah. Right, so if you guys don't have a vacuum bleeder, either invest in one or find a friend that has one, because these make your life so much easier. So this basically just goes on the bleeder on your caliper like normal, and then you just squeeze it, build some pressure up. Side one. Oh yeah.
Hop along, hobby.
That you actually got to point it at me.
I can't tell whether it's... How do I get the screen to go back on again?
I mean, you can tap it, but it might not work with your glove.
It's not working. Got it. There's your ugly mug.
What do you mean ugly? People say we look alike.
Oh, you must be a good looking bastard then.
Damn it, the ground's wet here.
So this is very much a trial and error thing, isn't it?
But yeah, pretty much just got to do it till it. So you've got all the air out. So we're actually going to go around the car again and just, yeah, each corner do the brakes one more time. But while I'm doing that, I'm just going to crack the sump, let the motor drain into the wheel. Oh, yes.
That's got it.
You guys can get a little look at my JB Fab extended sump there. We had that made a while ago for the last car. It's just, so I think it holds like an extra litre of oil over the factory sump, and Robbie put some trap doors in there, so when the car swings one side, it holds the oil stops the oil from sloshing away from the pickup, and on the other side it allows the oil to flow in, and then obviously when you switch to the other way, it does the opposite. While the oil was draining out, the old boy is going to have a go at bleeding some brakes.
Does that work?
Yep. Yeah. Pump it.
What am I pumping it up to?
About 40. Yep. Then take the spanner and turn it. Yep. Yep. And let it go down to about there. Close it. Pump it up again. Yep. Turn it. Close it. Sweet. Alright, so hopefully we've got the brakes all sorted out now. We've got the oil pretty much all drained. Just going to take the old filter off and put a fresh filter on. These are huge, what's the word I'm looking for? Huge help. These make getting oil filters off so much easier. Is it cricket?
Yeah, they'd be pretty hard to get off with that one, wouldn't they? There's not a lot of room down there either to work, is there?
Nah, especially when you got like a lot of grease and grime from engine, just general engine wear. Your hands can slip on them quite a lot.
Is that other filter quite old, was it?
Not old, but it's good to replace your filters often on motors like these when you're just absolutely thrashing them all the time.
Yeah.
I really need to get an oil cooler and filter relocation kit, because changing a filter when it's on the side like that always leaves a fucking mess. I don't have a funnel, and I'm not going Jimmy Oak style and just winging it, because I don't want to make a mess. So I cut a bottle open, or cut a bottle in half I should say. We use the bottle for the oil.
Fuck, there's a lot, isn't there?
It's deceiving because it's so thick it's coming out real slow.
Ah, okay.
It's only a litre.
Jeez, it is thick, isn't it?
For those that don't know what this stuff is, basically, when your motor gets real hot, your oil breaks down and thins out. This just helps it keep, you know, more consistent. And RBs, because they are notorious for having oiling issues and filling the heads up with oil, and that problem gets exacerbated by the oil being thin. So if you can keep the oil more consistent, it's less likely to completely drain the sump of oil. The last thing we want is a run bearing. Alright, so the last thing I want to do today is I want to get the steering wheel on. Can you straighten those wheels up, please? Yeah, it should be out there. We don't want my steering wheel crooked so the internet makes fun of me again. On go my China spec end keys, wrapped in my Kenders. So we got the Morris and the oil in this. Went to start it up and noticed that the battery was dead. So the old man went down to Super Cheap and grabbed some jumper leads, because who knows where the hell our ones went. We used to have some, but yeah, they've gone walkabout. So we got the battery charging, gonna start it up, make sure the oil level is good, and then you're gonna do a burnout.
I'm going to try to do a burnout for you, mate.
Oh no, you'll definitely do a burnout.
Oh, okay.
So you guys remember, well, if you guys have been following my channel for a while, my dad did his first ever burnout, well, proper burnout in my old Safiro. And yeah, so we're gonna repeat that today in this. What I mean by you're definitely gonna do a burnout, this makes literally double the power of what the Safiro used to make. So I'm gonna do a quick one just to make sure the brakes will actually hold the car. And if we're good on that front, then the old boy is gonna jump in the hot seat.
Yeah, I'm a bit apprehensive about it.
Alright, so we've had a bit of a debacle, so I don't know if you guys would have been able to tell, But at a certain point in the skid, there was a whole lot of oil that shot up from the cold side. And what that was from was just being an absolute rookie and not checking the bit where the oil filter screws onto. So the old filter, when I took that off, the seal on it stayed on there. It didn't come back off with the filter. I didn't check it, I should have. And when I went to put the new filter on, obviously the old seal was still there. So there were 2 seals there. Yeah, once I had, really put my foot down and, built quite a bit of pressure up, it just blew that seal out. And yeah, Dad's just trying to clean up some of the oil now, but there's a big oil trail all the way down there. So hopefully we haven't fucked the motor, but it dumped pretty much all the oil out of it. I pulled it back here and I stupidly started it back up to try and see where the oil was coming from. And that's when I noticed it was coming out of the filter, and then the motor started squeaking a little bit. So I don't know, boys, we might have just fucked the motor. I don't know, we can hope for the best, but I'm probably, yeah, I did put some new oil in it, ran it up, and yeah, there's no squeaking. But unfortunately with metal, once it's metal on metal, like, you do a bit of damage. So that could have been the difference between this doing 100 track days before it ran a bearing, or doing 1 track day and running a bearing. So I don't know, it's kind of really fucking frustrating, but it was my fault. There's no one to blame but myself. But yeah, the old boy's not going to be doing a skid today, unfortunately. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the skid that I did. I enjoyed it up until I noticed that it was pissing oil everywhere. So yeah, these things happen. I got a bit ahead of myself instead of yeah, I guess checking to make sure that that seal, yeah, had gone with the old filter. It was just, yeah, rookie move. But yeah, I could have not put this in the video, hide it, but nah, I'd rather show you guys that I make mistakes as well. And yeah, I even make mistakes that unfortunately could have cost me my whole motor.
Mistakes, mate.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah.
You just fucking cross that bridge when we come to it. If you blew it up, you blew it up.
Yeah. So
I'll see if I can pluck 5-10 grand out of my ass, who knows?
yeah, well, we know that's not going to happen.
Well, you never know, mate. I might win lotto next week.
Yeah, if you win lotto, that'll be good.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is probably going to wrap it for this one. There's oil all over the engine bay. I'm actually contemplating just pulling the motor and gearbox out of this car to clean it all properly, because pulling the motor and gearbox out of this car is not actually that difficult because of it not having a front end. Like, I could get this motor out by myself in about 40 minutes if my knee was good. So even with a shit knee with some help, it'll probably only take 40 minutes with some help. So it might be easier just to do that, to be able to clean everything up properly, because I know the camera's not going to be able to pick it up that well, but I've just absolutely gunked this whole area with brake clean to try and, yeah, somewhat clean up the oil. But yeah, it's bad. So learn from my mistakes, guys. Always check to make sure that the old seal from the oil filter hasn't gotten stuck there. As I said, that's probably going to wrap it for this one. We're about to shoot home. I don't really know what I'm going to do this week. My knee being the way it is really a huge hindrance. But my plan was to start doing the body prep. My plan was to start the prep on all the body panels so we could get them painted up, so we can get this car looking like an actual car instead of just a drift car. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, that'll be it for this one, guys. Cheers for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.